Hello, everyone, and welcome to Horrornightoasis, a radio show where we discuss all the latest movies and news from the world of horror. Joining me tonight, as always, is my co-host Ian. Ian, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Ian, this is going to be one of those shows. They
Yep.
don't happen. They don't happen all too often, but with the way things are going down, and I just I need to vent on this one because this one is ridiculous. Um, I don't want to get into it yet, but as you know, we're in the middle,
I can't
well,
move.
still at the
Okay,
beginning
let me take. I can't
of
move.
our.
All right, let me take a look.
Oh
Ian,
my
you want to
god.
fix that?
Yeah.
The bracken is facing a wall.
Nothing is happening. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I don't even.
like I said, it's one of those episodes where things are just gonna be not nice. But as mentioned, we're
I
in
don't even
the
know what happened. Sorry
yeah,
about
it's
that.
everything, dude. We got roach infestations, we got a blood moon, we got everything happening except a fucking werewolf movie. And we're in the middle of our Fall of Beast feast where we talk about werewolf films, and you think, hey, put the poster up, Ian. I want to talk about this. Get that poster up there for our film tonight. Look at that.
All right.
It's Al Snow in the shadow of a full moon with a werewolf in the whole full moon. And you look at that and you think, well, that's a Western horror movie or a Western with a werewolf. You would think. Like, I didn't watch no trailer, but that right there screams it's a werewolf horror, Western. I mean, there's not many, werewolf Western films. There's like Blood Moon, Ginger Snaps Back, Legend of Ghost Wolf. Like, okay, there's another werewolf horror movie, set in the Western days, cowboys and werewolves. I was like, okay, I'm interested in that. It sounds like a good diversion. We don't really do that many westerns on the show all that often. They come and go. And I was like, all right, cool. Let's do a western werewolf movie. And you know what, Ian? The werewolf's only in it 2 minutes at the very beginning because the rest of this movie turns into a fucking vampire film. What?
Yeah, that threw me off so much. Like I was like, what?
Like, why?
What?
Like, I understand the intentions, but when you have like a low budget and like I was like thinking like they're really showing off this werewolf pretty early for no reason. I was like it can't, and then they can't really be doing this, can they? And then they do it, and like you're serious? Is the budget that low that you can't just like sprinkle the werewolf in throughout? You got to kill it off at the beginning because we got to have a stupid vampire western movie that's been done to death. Like you couldn't have had the werewolf come in at the very end and do a little bit more, like a little bit of intrigue instead of a boring ass vampire sheriff where like
Right.
nothing happens. This movie's an hour and almost 2 hours long, 15 minutes shy of 2 hours. Nothing happens. Nothing.
And they all like. I mean, in the ending was just like this
All
movie
that
was
build up,
pointless.
all that build up too. Like, oh, I'm the head honcho vampire, whatever that runs this town. Oh, I'm gonna go out like a wimp. It's like grow some balls. It's just, oh, Ian, oh boy, this one. So let me try to get into this without, because I'm gonna go off on it some more, but I have to get the just desserts out there of describing the movie and the plot and everything. So the plot, again, I like the plot, the idea, the story, the general idea of the story is intriguing to me. Al Snow plays Dan Remington. He is in a sense, he's a soldier of God because apparently he has these voices or these ghosts that like talk to him. He's not able to see him, but there's these orbs, and they tell him to go to these places, to kill off creatures, entities, these beings. I'm assuming that's the power that he has. And so the very beginning of the movie, he's on a horse riding to his son's house because his son and his wife and their children is being attacked by a werewolf, or is supposedly being attacked by a werewolf, because once he gets there, they get attacked by a werewolf. The werewolf kills his son and the wife and leaves his two grandchildren, which is Jesse and Junior. Jesse is the girl, Junior's the boy. And so they get there, and again, Remington, I could call him Dan, but I like Remington better than Dan. So Remington is like, he's sort of this hard-edged, take no shit personality type, person, where it's just like very headstrong. Just, I'm not gonna put up with anything, no, even though like he has these voices in his head, but like when people come up to him, he's not backing down. He's that type of person, and so like he's sort of adverse to like being told what to do by his grandchildren, especially Jesse. He's just like, he's kind of just like pushed towards like, okay, fine, giving in to everything. And like, again, let's talk about the werewolf that's in the movie for 2 minutes. It's a cool werewolf. I mean, I was like, I like to see more of it, except for the very 2 minutes that he's in the film. Like they couldn't have, sprinkled him in throughout like another werewolf, like maybe they didn't kill it, maybe it ran off, and then like it's tracking them, and it's like he has to fight off the vampire and the werewolf at the same time. That would have been cool. That's what I was hoping for, but it doesn't happen. Like, I wish that was the case. I really do. Like if you're going to go ahead and showing the werewolf that early, you could have just shoehorned it in at the end. After kicking the vampire in the balls, and then just like, oh, the movie's over. Like they could have had like, oh, here's the werewolf now after he killed the vampire sheriff. But they don't do that. But again, I'm going already to the ending of this because I don't really care.
Yeah, no.
And then go ahead, Ian.
I was gonna say just that ending.
Oh boy. So anyway, he has to he has to take care of his grandchildren, and like, well, I'm gonna head off into town, or just going somewhere wherever I go. And Jesse's able to see the ghosts that's talking to Remington. She's sort of able to. I don't think she's able to hear it, or I think she can see it, and like they're angry, so she's able to see it, and like the voices like, or like he can hear them mouth off basically. And so basically he kind of gives in and like takes care of the grandchildren, of course, but because he's more of a loner. And they needed to kind of do a little bit more character development of Remington, because like he's kind of just like, like making him like more like not really forgiving, but more of like understanding of his grandchildren's needs and wants, and like trying to become like, they kind of do that at the end, but it's kind of just like now a character turnabout, where he sort of like, he thought it like first it's like a curse in a sense, and then like he slowly understands the meaning and like everything like that. I mean, there's parts in here that's like are okay if it was written better. So anyway, they go to this town called Possum Trot, and there's also these three other characters that just come and go, because we can't have any other characters besides Remington and his grandchildren and the sheriff and the deputies and all that. Like, you introduce Rex, Nate, and Jimmy, and like they're also sort of like hunters. Like they're coming into town, and like they just fended off a chupacabra, and so now they're like going after vampires in this town, or they think they think the town's inhabited by vampires. And so like they're introduced, and like in this town they're not allowed to have guns, so it's sort of the plot's like stolen from Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood, where you can't have guns in the city limits. But of course there's this is a vampire take on that, where everybody's just sort of like in this inhabited town by vampires. Like they're all living there. Apparently there's some kind of truce between the deputy and the sheriff vampire. And I'm just going to go ahead and spoil it. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like, oh, the sheriff's not here yet. I don't know what he's doing. It's obvious he's a vampire. It's pretty on the nose. And so like they kill off the three other hunters, Rex, Nate, and Jimmy. They're introduced and then killed off 5 minutes later. So who cares? This whole movie, who cares? And then Remington, his grandchildren come in there, and apparently like another rule, you can't have children in the town after dark. And so that sets off a chain of events where like, again, the deputy is after Remington, like, and Remington's like spitting chewing tobacco on the ground on his feet and all that stuff. Just like no shit's attitude. And like, well, I tried to give you the warning if the sheriff's going to come and take care of you. And so like that just leads into a whole thing of events of like Remington just going from like mainly to like the store clerk, and like there's sort of like a budding relationship there. And then like a bunch of other townsfolk just like, I'll say a prayer for you. You know, like the preacher is trying to leave, and then all the little deputies, henchmen, and sidekicks just coming in there. And it really leads to nothing, honestly. Remington is just like, you know, it's just a straightforward movie of like, oh, we're going to have to deal with vampires now. And like, he's like struggling with like his inner turmoil with like the spirits around him. And then the devil comes into play a little bit, trying to like, I can get the voices out of your head if you don't want them anymore. You just do this, do that. And then that turns him around into following the faith, and like, it's not a curse anymore. I can handle it. And like talking to his grandchildren, because like Junior is able like to fix things. Like he has a keen eye on like fixing like watches and like guns if like it misfires. And then of course Jesse's able to see the spirits and do all that stuff, and the orbs. So it just leads to a big culmination of just Remington coming to terms with his own self and the spirits that haunt him, and I guess haunt him or whatever it is, lead him in the way that it's doing. And the vampire sheriff that made a truce with the town to become sheriff, it doesn't make sense. And like, again, like some of the reasonings just like aren't fully developed. And it just like, it really goes nowhere for like an hour. Like I'm just like waiting for stuff to happen. It's like all these little plots, it just don't really mesh that well. And just like very elongated for something that could have been honestly 20 minutes shorter. And it could have probably been more digestible. Whereas, you know, as like I said, it's not the worst thing, but this film is like a wolf in sheep's clothing, because it advertised a werewolf movie and it's a vampire film.
Yeah.
And that is just not right. I mean they've done that before. I mean it's advertising 101. I mean, it's not, you know, like The Item from like 2001, where it has like, again, you look at the VHS cover, the DVD cover, and it's an eye staring at you. You think it's this big elaborate, you know, this big creature film, and it just turns out that it looks like a freaking uvula, and like this art house thing where like, oh, I'm gonna have sex with it, and it has like a little rosebud penis tentacle thing, and it's just like weird punkish thing that it, whatever the item is from the if you've seen the film, you know it. But it's like, again, it's not that bad. You know, but it's just like you're promised one thing, and then you're just like, oh, surprise, it's not that. And that's like the biggest downfall of this film. Like, I'm expecting a werewolf movie, and I mean, we got 5 minutes of a werewolf movie, and then it turns into a vampire film at the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not terrible. Like I said, it's not the worst thing we sat through. It's just a very elongated nothing burger, because like it doesn't really matter. There's like they try to do some character development with Remington and like his grandchildren, but it just wasn't I wouldn't say intriguing. It just wasn't exciting. Like you want something like pulling you in. Like you go for this journey, this long journey. It's almost 2 hours, and like it's nothing, and you're just sitting there, just like waiting for something to happen, and like you're sitting like I was like, are they going to introduce the werewolf again? Like, is the werewolf coming in? Is something besides vampires? Because it looks like this is a werewolf movie. It's not. It's really not. So we're really going down the vampire route here, and we're done with the film. And there's a ghost grandma, and okay then.
Yeah, and then just
Ian,
like,
your thoughts?
I mean, this movie, like, I mean, if you look at the picture, you think, okay, this is a werewolf movie. We've seen
Yeah, we don't.
Western.
Yeah, we don't see that. We don't watch the trailer either. We just go by what is the synopsis that's given to us and the poster. And this, a lone gunslinger faces off against creatures because of his past sins. And you see a full moon, and you see a werewolf in it. You put 2 and 2 together. Oh, it's a werewolf movie. But apparently, if you put 2 and 2 together, you get vampire.
Yeah. No, and there's just some things that just kept popping up, and I was just like, how is this relevant to the story at all? Like, I mean, I felt like they focused too much on like random things, and they were just trying to get their their time in. And I kept like, is the werewolf like, I was like, is the werewolf going to come in and like help fight? They're going to use the werewolf to fight off the vampire, like kind of like an underworld situation or something. But no, I just kept waiting for the werewolf to show back up, and I'm like, when I realized, oh, I only have like 20 minutes left. That was when I started. I was like, okay, so this is just a random ass vampire movie. And
disguised as a werewolf movie.
Yeah. And then like they just leave. And the vampire's still doing the vampire thing, and everybody's just doing their shit. And it's like, what was the point of this? I was like, this movie had no real resolution. It was just a grandfather hanging out with his grandkids because he just decided to randomly show up because he was and to kill a werewolf. And they were just like the whole ghost thing, and then like the girl seeing the ghost but can't hear them, or she could. I don't know. But that was just.
And then like she's able to hold hands and they're able to see and hear at the same time.
Yeah, like.
So she's able to hear him at one point, but not at another.
Yeah, that part confused me because that was just like. I was like, you're messing up your own lore right now. Did you forget halfway through? Like what you were doing, like what world you were setting up. It was just, I don't know, man. It was just a weird movie about a guy hanging out with his grandkids, and there was a couple of monsters and nothing else.
Yeah. Like they don't really add much to it. Like you'd think like maybe the story would be more intriguing, but it's just like it's not. Like I was hoping for, again, you don't go in expecting a lot with some of these films we go into, but you expect to be a little entertained. And again, I was just sitting there I wasn't really bored. I was just like uninterested. And that's the main thing. Like I was just like, when is something going to happen? Everything's slow. Oh, now more talk about his children and grandchildren, and how he's a bad father, and well, he shouldn't have done this and shouldn't have done that, and trying to give him some backstory to, like, but it doesn't really get to the point of like why he has these spirits or ghosts haunting him. They don't really go into that. It's just there. It's just a MacGuffin. You're like, oh, I just have it for no reason.
Yeah.
They could have gone
Right.
into something that he did that he got cursed or whatever. And apparently his wife is haunting him too. It's for some reason, even though he doesn't know that. I don't know. There's just like so much that they tried to put into this thing, but yet so little effort went into making it work. Like they just like let's entice people making it a werewolf movie, but let's make this shitty ass vampire movie that's been done to death. Like again, I wanted something more out of this besides fucking something I've seen numerous times. There's so many vampire western films. Like it's ridiculous. And I needed more creature. I needed more werewolf besides that. Like I said, like they could have fought off the werewolf at the beginning and like it just like got hurt, right? And then like it scurried off, and then like maybe it came back into play later on, and then you had like the werewolf and the vampire feuded out for a little bit, and instead of just like the vampire sheriff just like, oh, I'm just a vampire, I don't like people. There's like no real rhyme and reason. Like why is he the sheriff of the town? Apparently there's a truce, but it doesn't make sense. Like, why can he not have children in the town after midnight? Why no guns? Like guns don't hurt a vampire. I mean, why no guns? Like it's just a stake. Like if there was a werewolf sheriff, maybe it should have been a werewolf sheriff instead of a vampire sheriff. It would have been made more fucking sense.
Yeah. I just wish people would stick to the lore that they're building up and figure out what kind of movie they want to make. Like, I get, the sympathetic vampire sheriff or whatever. It's like, I can hear everything. I can do all this stuff to keep the town safe. And it's like, okay, well, give us a real threat then. Give us a justification as to like why you can be trusted among other, vampires and whatever. At least, like, are you helping fend off werewolf attacks? That would have been a nice little twist, like the vampire like risking his life to save the town from marauding or werewolves or something. Give us something other than just, okay, well, we have reached an impasse, so let's just part ways.
Yeah.
Yay, the day is saved.
Yeah, just
Grandma's talking to the kids.
Fucking grandma. Ugh. Grandma's a bullet shield.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Here comes Remington, and the spirit of his dead wife is his bulletproof vest, just fending off the bullets.
That line of, I thought you weren't worried about those hunters. Yeah, but those hunters were sent by God. So that makes it's like, what? Oh, they were sent by God. Oh gosh. Oh no. And it's like, okay, so explain that in more detail. Like, what's the difference between a hunter being sent by God? And if they were sent by God, then why is it like, why did the movie end the way it did? If it's like such a big deal that they were sent by God, obviously they were supposed to kill them. And did they fail their mission or something? Or was he supposed to learn, well, maybe not all monsters are evil or something. But that lesson was never truly explored or learned or anything. It's just like you said earlier, just a big nothing burger. Like I just,
It was just word salad. It's just like let's make it all sound prim and proper, but don't tie it up at the end.
yeah, that was just like, I was just like, what the fuck? After, I was like, this movie was almost 2 hours long just for nothing. Like, no resolution, no real character development, no, like,
Well, when Satan comes, that's about the gist of the character development for Remington. Like, oh, it isn't a curse. I'm gonna have this revelation that I'm gonna use my power of these ghosts haunting me for good. Apparently, I don't know.
yeah,
It's not fully developed. It's there, but not fully developed. It's just it needed more work because, like, again, the idea is there for this lone gunslinger being haunted by voices, spirits, ghosts, whatever. Um, his granddaughter can see the spirits, and apparently she has like sort of like, I don't know, some gift as well. Maybe it's the bloodline. I don't know. Um, and then like you fend off a werewolf, and you think like he's fending off like all these different creatures, through the film with his grandchildren. It would have been okay. He had the werewolf. Maybe before they get to Possum Town, there's something else that pops up. I don't know. And then like the vampire stuff happens towards the end, and then the werewolf shows back up. But no, it's just the fend off the werewolf 5 minutes in, a bunch of try hard bonding scenes with him and his grandchildren, trying to make him this, bad, like hard ass with a, hard edged mentality, just like take no prisoners, but also a soft spot. Um, but it just like, I don't know, it didn't mesh. And then they introduced the store clerk, and then like the vampire sheriff's biting people, and like apparently, well, they drunk the holy water when he bit the granddaughter on the neck, but yet the granddaughter didn't turn because the holy water was like some kind of barrier or something, even though still you got bit on the neck. That's still, I don't know. They still, like, again, they don't know what they're wanting to do. Apparently, if you drink holy water, you're immune. If you don't, you still, even if you have bites on your neck, you're not going to turn into someone, a vampire. I
yeah,
don't know. But yeah, it's just like all over the place with just like, again, it's not bad to, it's like a decently shot movie. Like there's some good scenes, like when they're in the cabin, the house in the field, and like he lights it on fire and it forms a cross, and like the lady store clerk is like, no, you're trapped in here with me, and like, no, I'm not trapped in here with you, you're trapped in here with me. And he puts on the knuckles and punches her, the holy knuckles. And so like, I don't know, there's just like, there's moments in here that's okay, but it's just like the movie just like doesn't live up to what it's supposed to be. It's like again, like I said, we expect one thing, a werewolf movie, and we're getting something else completely different. And just like I said, wolf in sheep's clothing, man, where it's just like it didn't need to be this way. And it's like halfway through it, I was like, man, I don't even know if we should really even do this. But it's like, we always do these things. Like, we come out here, we pick a film, and we talk about them no matter what. And that's the case with this one. It's just like, I just don't want people to make the same mistake of like going in there expecting a creature feature, and you get vampire western. That's a boring
yeah,
vampire western. Nothing exciting happens. It's just marauding dialogue, monotone at best. Like, I don't like your kind. I don't like you either, but I'm an a-hole, and I have grandchildren, and I have to take care of them. And I got spirits, and I got conflicting thoughts, and I go after creatures, and I killed my son and my wife.
right.
I don't know, man. It wasn't, like I said. There was good intentions with the film, but it just, as we said, it needed to be filtered and just like reworked to make it a proper film instead of just like, you know what? I want to make the Hateful Eight, but I want to put vampires in it. And that's what he did. We all set it in this saloon, have the kids hide behind the bar. I'm going to bite someone, sheriff this, deputy that, henchmen always holding their guns at people. If you don't put that gun down, I'm going to do this fatso, and all kinds of stupid, like, Western dialogue, that you get out of the, like just a normal Western, and just like, oh, but there's a vampire and ghost grandma. I don't know. It wasn't good. Like, it's not the best. It's not terrible. Like, honestly, it's not terrible. But like, again, you go in and like you just, you're just petting a turtle, and you're like, oh, this is a nice turtle, and it just turns out it's an anaconda and it bites you. Just like, what? I thought I was putting my hand in a turtle. Or a rabbit, like whatever. You think one thing, you go a different way. Like, oh, this is a cute little bunny, and it's a spider.
Yeah.
It's just, it's just one of those where it's just like, why? What's the point? Especially with that post. Like, come on, man, that's false advertising. This is like those freaking food ads where like the burger looks amazing, and then you get it, it's all sloppily put together. Like, this looks like shit. That's what this film is. It's a juicy looking hamburger, and you get it, it's all shitty looking.
Yeah.
Like, or it's the wrong order. Like, this is like, this isn't what I ordered. That's what it is. It's a wrong order. But Ian, any final thoughts before we just put this one to rest? Especially on a full moon. Like, it's a blood moon. Like, oh man, it's perfect. We're gonna have a werewolf movie.
Yeah.
Like,
and
no,
we didn't get that.
We didn't get that.
And then I don't know. I think it gave me a haunted phone, because the notification from us going live set off. Like, I didn't even have my phone on. Like, I got the notification for it, and then like apparently it triggered a video that I had played like 15 minutes ago, before, prior to our show, to just randomly start playing in the background. I was like,
yeah, that's that ghost grandma. She's like, no.
I was like, what? And I kept like, I was like, it's not even on. How do I turn it off?
Oh man, what we do? Yeah, that's that's gonna do it for this one. I mean, I wouldn't even really put this in the Fall Beast category, but we are gonna have to, because there was a werewolf in it for 2 minutes, and it was cool for what it was. But that's gonna do it for Unnatural, which is definitely a fitting title now, because it's unnaturally not a werewolf movie.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's going to do it. And we will continue on this Marathon of Wonders for the rest of the month, for our continuing marathon of the Fall of Beast Feast. Ian, as always, it's great talking with you. And I appreciate everyone listening to our ramblings for an hour. Well, actually half an hour. But still, we go on these tangents, and it's just whatever. We just have fun. And that's what it is. You go into these movies blind, and whatever comes out the other end is always a surprise. You don't know if it's going to be solid or liquid. So this is one of those liquids. But anyway, thanks everyone for listening, and we will see you next time on Horrornightoasis.
All right. Good night.